I was highly motivated to do this because I knew my dad's research well, including a study that he had done in China, the most comprehensive study ever done of the relationship between diet and disease.
And so the China study was really an opportunity in a human setting to see if what we were learning in the laboratory had any bearing for a human population. Well, at the time that we were organizing the China study, we knew that for about a dozen different cancers, they were very common in some counties in China and much less common in other counties. Just that observation was interesting. I also was aware at that time that we couldn't really look at single nutrients and what role they might play. I was thinking of nutrients collectively working as in food. So the object of the China study was for me to measure as many things we possibly could.
My dad's research team collected blood, urine, and questionnaire data from 6,000 patients in 60 counties across China and measured a total of 367 variables. Then they let the computers go to work, searching for patterns among nearly 100,000 correlations that might indicate the relationship of food to disease outcomes.
As I looked at that body of correlations, I could see patterns emerging, somewhat like a hologram. You stare at this complexity and suddenly you start to see something emerge. And when I saw all of these variables in the food together with stuff in the blood, comparing it with all the disease outcomes, we tended to get the same answer, that the closer we would get to a whole food, plant-based diet, the healthier we would be, and the less disease we would incur. And that in turn was consistent with what I previously had been doing in the laboratory, and what in fact also existed in literature from other places.
We also know that all the saturated fat and the casein in dairy helps to accelerate and promote heart disease. And then we have this whole problem of fractures in the elderly. So here we have this problem of increasing cancer, increasing heart disease, and increasing fracture. Not a good thing. Dairy really should be out.
Es wird sehr viel darüber diskutiert, dass wir ohne Milch nicht genügend Kalzium aufnehmen. Kalzium ist wichtig für die Knochenstabilität, soll Osteoporose vorbeugen, aber Untersuchungen von Menschen, die überhaupt keine Milch und keine Milchprodukte verzehren, zeigen, dass dort die Osteoporose-Häufigkeit sehr viel geringer ist als bei uns.
And dairy also has, and there's good evidence for this, it has some allergenic properties. It tends to be associated with allergies, either directly associated or enhancing the allergies coming from another source. And so we see things like, in the case of teenage boys, we get this acne. They get this acne sometimes, this skin problem. A lot of that is due to their consumption of dairy. Stop dairy, goes away. Dairy is associated with migraine headaches. I know of a lot of people, have these migraine headaches. It's kind of an allergy kind of thing. As is acne, that's kind of an allergy kind of thing. You stop that, it goes away. And it's very fast. And I used to say that with great reluctance because I was raised on a dairy farm. I grew up milking cows. And then when I went away to do my doctoral dissertation, I actually did my dissertation on the idea of promoting more milk consumption. So I'm not saying these rather negative things about dairy for any ideological reasons or any personal reasons. I'm saying it in reference to the evidence, the data. That's what it shows.
The excessive consumption of animal products such as meat, fish, dairy products, and eggs puts a strain on our bodies. That was also what Frankfurt-based physician Lothar Wendt found in his research.
Mein Vater Lothar Wendt hat erstmals 1949 das Konzept der sogenannten Eiweißspeicherkrankheiten formuliert. Das haben wir in den Jahren später weiterentwickelt und die Kernthese lautet, dass das zu viel an tierischem Eiweiß in der Ernährung krank macht.
T. Colin Campbell arrived at the same conclusion. He has been at the cutting edge of nutritional research for more than 40 years, and in the 80s and 90s, he directed the China-Cornell-Oxford project, better known as the China Study. This is the most comprehensive nutrition study in the history of biomedical research to date. It confirmed Campbell's theory.
We tend to want to consume protein, which means we want to consume meat, because that supposedly makes us strong. It makes us healthy. That's been an old story for a long time. But in reality, as we put more and more protein or meat into our diet, we see these diseases start to appear.
The China Study, as well as numerous other studies, demonstrate one thing above all. The higher the consumption of animal products, the greater the frequency of heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and countless other chronic diseases. Even small amounts of animal products can have a negative effect on our health.